We're using the Fatberg in the Gut Feelings exhibition to talk about the hygiene hypothesis. So this is the idea that actually being too clean can be bad for us. So this notion that's in society all the time at the moment, this killing the 99.9% of germs always, might not be the best approach. So in this way, the Fatberg's really a perfect commentary on society at the moment. We're both too clean, trying to kill 99% of germs all the time, and we're overeating.
We had a major blockage of one of our inlet pipes at this treatment plant, and we had to get contractors out to basically suck out the lines, jet them through and clean all whatever was obstructing in them out. And in the process of that, we dislodged probably 5 kilo lump of, well, a Fatberg.
I was really excited to see the Fatberg. It's quite unusual. It's not an object type that I've worked with before. It meant that I got to do some research and kind of find out more about Fatbergs. I got to visit the Yarra Valley Water treatment plant, which was really fun, and learn more about sewage than I ever thought I would learn about sewage. And then problem solve a whole lot of issues in terms of how we got it into the museum and were able to display it. We were lucky with this project to have quite a few months to prepare, which was really useful because this object is a slight unknown. We don't know exactly how it's going to behave on display. Because of that, we want to do some experiments beforehand and see if we could find the best display environment. So a couple of months ago, we went to the sewage treatment plant. They found us some test pieces of Fatberg that we could use. So we tried a couple of different display environments. We tried one that was low relative humidity, and then we tried one that was low relative humidity and low oxygen. And that one worked really well at reducing the mould growth. One of the issues that we might face having the Fatberg on display is that Fatbergs are full of water because they've been in sewage, so we wanted to see if we reduced that, we could reduce the condensation in the display case. Fatbergs also, as the Museum of London found out, because they contain biological material, sometimes grow things, so they had flies growing out of their Fatberg, and also it grew a really lovely layer of mould.
So it's basically an accumulation of fat, fibrous material, either being wet wipes or earbuds or whatever, and it's basically clumped together and then plaqued inside the pipe. So in the process of cleaning up the mess, we sampled most of the gross solids that come out of that inlet channel, and we found this 5 kilo lump of fat. So we basically grabbed the shovel, grabbed the plastic bag and put it away for safekeeping.
And once they had dried out for a couple of months, then we went and collected them. So we reused one of the tubs that we'd been using for our experiments, as that was a closed environment that we could transport the Fatberg back to Museums Victoria or to Melbourne Museum. So we put it in a tub, or the two pieces into a tub, sealed that in a plastic bag and brought that back in one of our museum object transport vehicles. We had to create the environment we wanted for the display, so that was getting rid of as much oxygen as possible, and we did that 2 ways. We flushed the display case with nitrogen to get rid of as much oxygen as possible, and then put in oxygen scavengers underneath the plinth. So what the nitrogen didn't get rid of, the oxygen scavengers will eat up during the display and keep the atmosphere in there with as the least amount of oxygen possible.
It's a living display. Even though we've tried to dry it out as much as we can, and our amazing conservation team is trying to draw out all the oxygen in that tank, it still contains a heap of microbes itself, and it's still a decaying mass that we've got on display here. So it's quite unique in that respect because it's not what you would typically show in a museum.
What I really like about my job in working with objects is the connection that objects have to people. So I'm really excited about putting the Fatberg on display because I think it is going to be a really powerful display that provokes people to think about our actions and how they affect both the environment and our health. I mean, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I'm quite attached to it now. I'm quite excited about it coming in and us putting it on display because I think it's really interesting. But yeah, it was kind of waxy and white and light and just a little bit gross.